Shalom and welcome to another video on the Genesis 49ers page. Today is going to be a refutation of the Whited Out 4 presentation that was done a little over a year ago. A lot of fallacious claims were made in this video to attack the northern kingdom and the northern tribes, the Mexindian and Latino Israelites, okay, that make up the northern kingdom. They did a lot of fallacious attacks and used a lot of scientific racism, the same scientific racism that the so-called white man uses against us as a whole, to say that we're not a people at all, that we're not the Jews, that we're not the Israelites. The same exact tactics, exact tactics they use against the Igbo people, the Yoruba people, they use against the quote-unquote African-American people. The same exact tactics. You use the same thing. So we're going to play a clip from the video, and we're going to get into the information that's going to dissect and refute this. Not rebut, refute. Refute means to basically cast it down and show that it's a lie. We're going to show and prove. These people don't show and prove. And one thing you know about this video, they don't really show and prove. They just make a lot of fallacious claims and arguments.
They appeared to be completely African. But I discovered a number of mysterious legends and customs that were very un-African. Men from other tribes were not allowed to marry into the Lemba.
Portion of this clip is what I want.
Now, the majority of Mexicans and mixed North American Indians and Latinos don't even claim to be the...
What does that mean? Majority of them don't claim to be the Israelites. What are you talking about? When you look into the African-American group, if you will, majority of them don't claim to be Israelites. Majority of them claim to be African, claim to be Nuwapian, claim to be some kind of African subgroup, okay? Or they claim to be African-American or just American. Majority of African-Americans don't claim to be Israelites. What is your point? The scripture tells you that a remnant will come back. A remnant. Okay, so if you can just see it on her face. She knows she's full of you know what. Okay, so we're going to go pull this article up. Like I said, we're going to be showing and proving the first statement with the first statement, right? Boom. You see that this is a wiki article about the Igbos. Now, what I want you guys to focus on to the right, it says total population, 3,000 to 5,000. Those are 3,000 to 5,000 practicing Jews of the Igbo people of Nigeria. That's not the majority of the Igbo nation. Do you know how vast and how many? I believe it's like more than 40 million or something. Igbos, okay, and only 3,000 to 5,000 are practicing Judaism, are claimed to be of Israelite lineage. So majority of the Igbos don't do that, okay. That doesn't invalidate them as being Israelites. That's something you made up, a straw man that you made up in your mind, in your head, and try to use to deceive the people. And that's what the word devil means, deceiver. And you're being a devil right now, by definition. Now, we're going to continue this clip. I want to make sure you guys can see it. So we're going to continue this clip, right?
Israelites. What you do have is a very small few individuals who were recently told this lie by so-called black Hebrew Israelites.
So she's claiming that the only people that are of Indian and Latino descent, a very small group of people, were told that they're Israelites by black Hebrew Israelites. You know, what she's referring to is the One West subgroup of the North American Israelites. Okay, that started around the 70s. And they always taught that the Indians and Negroes were Israelites. That's some Abba Bivens, the conclusion he came to. But the 12 chart came around the late 80s, early 90s. Okay, so they're saying that's where you get the small remnant of Indians or Latinos that claim to be Israelites. She obviously doesn't know history. None of these people know history. They know nothing about the Indians. They know nothing about the people that they hate and they speak against. But guess what? Genesis 49ers, we know about the Native Indians and Latinos. My channel is dedicated to it. Okay? We know their history. They're not going to be misrepresented on this page. Point blank, period. And we're going to refute what this devil just said. Because by definition, you just tried to deceive the masses. Right? Because this video has like 238,000 views. And there's no scholarly works in this video. Where's her sources? Where's the information that I can go home and study and to make sure and fact check her work? I can't. These are just claims. These are just emotions. You know, because she probably had that black inferiority thing going on. It's not about just skin tone. It's about nationality and race. Phenotype does not always match who you are as a people. How you look in appearance doesn't always match a certain race. If you knew anything about biology, you would have understood that. Okay. But back to her claim. She says that the ones that do call themselves Israelites were told this by the black Hebrew Israelites. Remember that. Now, remember, One West didn't start until 1969, I believe. Okay, and they really didn't start teaching about the 12 chart until the late 80s and late 90s. Remember that, because I have source material here to refute what she just said. First, let's deal with this. This is from a book, as you can see on your screen, The Jews of Amazon, Self-Exile and Earthly Paradise by Ariel Segal Freilich. I probably butchered that last name, but this is the book. Okay, so we're going to begin to read. It says, many of Indian Jews of Mexico, or as a scholar Seymour Lebin calls them, the Mestizo Jews of Mexico, have also converted to Judaism. The case of this group from a few towns in the states of Hidalgo and Veragua, and especially from the village of Venta Prieta, came to the attention of the Mexican Jews in the 1930s. So this is way before there was a One West, ISupk, before there was a 12 tribes chart, before there was an RER. This is way before that. Okay? It says it came to the attention of Mexican Jews in the 1930s, meaning these groups existed prior to the 1930s, but it came to the attention. Okay, when Mexico City newspapers reported a clash between Catholics and self-proclaimed sect of Israelites. Let me read that again. When Mexico City newspaper reported a clash between Catholics and self-proclaimed sect of Israelites. They were teaching they were Israelites before One West. They were teaching they were Israelites before ISupk. They were teaching they were Israelites before RER. But you don't know anything about the Native Indians because you hate them. So the only thing you read or talk about is scientific racism. That's the only thing you acknowledge. So when you read on, it says, the Jewish leaders from the capital investigated and found a community that gathered in one room, abode synagogue in front of a holy ark to worship the God of the Jewish people, reciting a mixture of Catholic, Protestant, and Jewish prayers. Mexican Jews began visiting the village and delivered books and presents, Shabbat candlesticks, prayer shawls to the exotic Jews. The indigenous Mexican members of Venta Prieta synagogue asserted that they were descendants of Spanish crypto Jews who had dispersed throughout the colonial New Spain. In 1940s, North American newspapers and magazines such as Jewish Frontier and Life published articles about the communities of the Indian Jews, enticing many tourists to the village. 1950, Israeli anthropologist Raphael Patai published the first study on the 50 practicing Jews of Venta Prieta, based on the 3-month field research that he conducted in 1948. Now, this is somebody that was around them, that studied them, that learned from them, okay? The scholar described a small congregation of Christians who claimed to be descendants of Moranos. And there were a few who claimed to come from the lost tribes of Israel, meaning coming from the 10 tribes of Israel. This is before there was anything called an ISupk, before there was anything called an ICUPK, anything called One West, anything called the 12 tribes chart as we know it today. Before any of that, you had Israelites teaching that they were Israelites. Native Indian, Mexindian, indigenous Mexicans claiming this. Everything sounds good until we come fact check you. Now, it says when reality proved that they had split from a Christian church and began to stress doctrines of the Hebrew Bible over the ones of the Catholic one. So that's the end of that quote. Now, let's go to another quote. This is the Benign Moshe. You can get this off of Wiki as well. This is on Wiki. And you see the Benign Moshe. Moshe is the children of Moses, also known as the Inca Jews, are a small group of several hundred converts of Judaism, originally from the city of Trujillo, Peru, to the north of the capital city of Lima. Judaism moved to the south into Arequipa and to other populated cities like Pirua. Most Benai Moshe now live in West Bank, mostly in Kafar, Tapuat, along the Yemenite Jews, Russian Jews, and others. Because a lot of them made Aliyah, which is a passage back to Israel. Now, sidebar real quick. You had somebody named Garfield saying Aliyah is a Muslim word, when he don't even know the word Aliyah means to return to Israel. It's an idiom used to mean or denote or connotate the return of Israel to the land of Israel. Okay? So you got the Inca Jews right there. The Amazonian Jews. The Amazon, also on Wikipedia. Amazonian Jews is the name of mixed race people of Jewish, Moroccan, and indigenous descent who lived in Amazon basin cities and river villages of Brazil and Peru, including Belém, Santarém, Alenquer, Obidos, and Manaus, Brazil, and Iquitos in Peru. They married indigenous women, and their descendants are mixed race, mestizo. In the 21st century, Belém had about 1,000 Jewish families, and Manaus had about 140 such families, most descended from these 19th century Moroccans. 7,000 in Brazil, unknown number in Peru, and 6,000 in Israel living today. Right? Just like you had the brothers in Dimona wanting to move to Israel, you had these brothers moving to Israel too, making Aliyah. Okay? So we can clearly see these things. That you had them. Now this is long before the 1800s. This is long before there was ISupk. That was long before there was something called a Black Hebrew Israelite. Long before that. Or what we know that terminology as. Because before we just called Sephardic Jews. You can check out my video, the Sephardic Negro Jews. And I go into detail about that topic. Right? The Moroccan Jews was not Edomite Jews. These were dark-skinned Jews. So, next slide. Ezekiel Gamanal, he started the Peruvian Israelite sect that is still running to this day. Right? Vice News did a special on this called Cocaine and Faith when they had talked about the Israelites of Monte de Israel in Peru. Okay? They've been teaching their Israelites since the 50s, man. No quote-unquote Black Hebrew Israelite told them this. All right? The leader of a Peruvian cult influenced by the films of Cecil B. de Mille, Ezekiel Gamanal, who had died at age 82, was a Peruvian prophet regarded by tens of thousands of followers as the Messiah. Just like you had Yahweh ben Yahweh, this was something similar down south in South America, Peru. A diminutive, rather bad-tempered figure who suffered from arthritis. Gamanal was worshipped by a sect, the Israelites of the New Universal Covenant. Its members were mainly Andean peasants who wore Old Testament costumes modeled in the Hollywood epics of Cecil B. DeMille. So, what did they teach what they were? They taught that they were Israelites. And of course, the newspaper are going to try to downplay and talk bad about this guy, like they try to downplay and talk bad about the Igbos. You do know the Igbos are not accepted as Jews, okay, to the Jewish community and to other aspects and other news outlets. They just call them converts, just like they call all our people. But we are the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of. And for you to get on camera and sit there and lie in front of everybody that the only ones that teach that they're Israelites are the ones taught by these black Hebrew Israelites, they are the ones who told them that. You are a liar and you should be ashamed of yourself. And you're not a historian. And you or your husband, you're not historians, and you do not do research. You do not do proper research, because you wouldn't make these fallacious claims. Okay? So we can clearly see, without a shadow of a doubt, that you were wrong. And you misled the people and you misinformed them. Being a devil and playing that role of a devil. I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna play the clip again all the way through.
Who were recently told this lie, who were
and certain other creatures, and they circumcised their male children at an early age.
Now, the majority of Mexicans and mixed North American Indians and Latinos don't even claim to be the Israelites. What you do have is a very small few individuals who were recently told this lie by so-called black Hebrew Israelites.
So you hear it right there, right out of the horse's mouth, the claim that she just made. And we just proved without a shadow of a doubt that that is a lie. You have the Casa de Dios in Mexico of so-called Mexindians claiming that they have Israelite heritage. Okay, we brought that out. The Amerindian Jews, the Inca Jews, the Peruvian Israelites. Okay, the Church of the Israelites in Peru. We brought all those things out. They been claiming they're Israelites prior to anything ISupk had done, anything Amba Bivens had done prior to that, prior to Arya and his vision, okay, in the 12 tribes chart, prior, okay, 1800s, 1600s, 1500s, okay. So, with that being said, we can clearly see that this claim has been refuted, completely refuted, 100% refuted. With that, I'm going to say shalom. I pray that you brothers learn something and you avoid devils, okay? Make these people fact check. Give source material, reliable sources, primary sources. Give us some information. Don't just make claims. That's why my channel, I pledge to give you the sources. I pledge to show you and prove to you my points, not just making erroneous claims. Genesis 49ers. Well, we don't just give vague descriptions. We give you thorough explanations and breakdowns. Stay tuned for more videos. Signing out.